It took me 26 years to realize this. No one teaches you this. Not in society, not in your job, not in school. You have to learn through your own experiences. Society tells you to go after it, earn it, be someone. You constantly have to show happiness, security, confident. But what I see mostly is most people are insecure. Most people feel secretly replaceable. Most identify with their jobs, but your job is not your soul. The education system it's training you to have that herd mentality, right? Like not question things, follow the authority figure, just be a good student, raise your hand, and ask for permission. It doesn't allow you to have autonomy or have a free will and have your own personal thinking, right? It kind of shuts that up and it forces you to have a collective thinking of the whole group. And it's conditioning you. It's conditioning you from middle school, high school, college. And, I found myself in that. Like when I went to college, I was like, okay, like it's just something everyone does, like it's just a structured environment. It's school. I've been going to school for my whole life, so it just makes the most sense, right? So once you graduate with your bachelor's, you're thinking, okay, like I've made it in life. Like, here we go. Woo! Go conquer the world, baby. Woo! And, you started applying to jobs. You realize jobs are not paying that much nowadays, especially with inflation's high, but salaries have stayed the same for some reason. And, salaries are, ranging from 35, 40K. That's just not cutting it nowadays. So what do most people do? Well, I just go to grad school and pursue my master's or PhD. So, I get a decent salary. So, but in that process, you're putting yourself in debt, right? There's more money for the system. And, just like in the banks, school systems, just in our society, capitalism, that's how it stays alive, is you paying money and being in debt. They don't want you to have money, because if you have money, they're not making money. So it's a compounding effect. And a lot of people little by little get a car that they don't want. They go to some private school that it's a useless paper. They buy these dumb subscriptions. They have bad habits. So all these things add up, and then you got a mortgage into it, and then they fall in that cycle of the trap, right? And then they get in the wrong relationship they're not supposed to be in. So now they're stuck in this relationship, and now you're just creating that self-inflicting harm to yourself now. And now, not if it doesn't, then one day it will all explode in your face. By Carl Jung, it was a very profound, deep impact on me. It was, once you make the unconscious conscious, if you don't, it will direct your life and you will call it your fate. So what does that mean? So if you don't face your own shadow, your own repressed unconscious mind, your traumas, your fears, insecurities, it will control you. It will control your life, if you like it or not, right? So once I came to that realization, I was like, ooh, I don't like that idea. Like, I want to be responsible for my own life, for my success, for my failures. I don't want anything controlling my fate. Suppressing life controls you. Trauma, fears, insecurities don't go away until you confront it. If you don't confront it, it will show you by your jobs, by your relationships, by how you think about yourself, by your habits. What starts from inside shows outside. Most people want to avoid suffering, right? They want to feel uncomfortable feelings. They don't want to face it. They want to distract themselves. But that's the key to your transformation, is consciously confronting your demons. Really. If you don't face your unconscious or your shadow, you will be your worst enemy for the rest of your life. And example, I could have moments like talking to someone or something happened, I could have a vocal outburst, right? And like, what did that anger come from, right? Like, a lot of people, I feel like, they look at surface level things. And what I mean is, oh, this happened because that person, right? I'm mad because of this. I'm mad because that person cut me off in the traffic. Right? Things like that. And you have to, that's like seeing the plant, out of the ground. Like, that's the plant, but you don't see the roots. There's a root issue to that. And if you, search down to the root, you will find meaning, you will find truth. Found wisdom was suffering is the gateway of knowing yourself. Suffering is almost like cracking you open and stripping the ego off you, right? And it forces you to look inside, and you have no choice to look inside and ask the profound questions that you need to ask for you to live a fulfilling life. Mojo. One phrase that I really adopted in my life, even tattooed in my body, great Latin phrase, originated from Friedrich Nietzsche, called amor fati. And what does amor fati mean? Amor fati is translation for love of fate. And what does that mean? Most people are asked to accept things accept how things are, right? The good, the bad, and the ugly. And what that phrase says is not only accept it, but love it. Why love it? So, bad things that happened in the past, right? You have to love everything in your past. You have to love everything where you at in your life right now. You have to love everything what will happen in your life. Even death you have to love. Because if you don't love it, that means you don't love life. And I choose to love life, right? And everything in your life has prepared you, shaped you. Nothing's by accident. Nothing's random in this life, And especially once you reflect back in your life, especially after the bad, you realize wow, I felt like an author wrote that, right? Like you couldn't have written that any better. Like you see the connection, you see the storyline, you see, the gain wisdom that you gain from that experience, right? Sometimes the worst things could be the best things, and the best things could be the worst things. Success isn't about validation or status or getting the most money or, getting the most attractive spouse, right? It's about aligning with your true self, taking your authentic path, because you will deeply regret, if you take the wrong route. You may not feel it in your 20s or 30s, but you will definitely feel it in your midlife. And that's when people have midlife crises. One truth about success is, of course, you will get more attention and validation and more opportunities. But one thing I really discovered is people will secretly envy you and resent you. Not because of you, they could admire you, but it forces them to look at themselves, their incompetence, their lack of actions, and it forces them to confront uncomfortable thoughts about themselves, why they haven't achieved certain things in their lives. So sometimes you see people inflict pain onto others. Most people are chasing it's not status, money, attractive spouse, a house, a vacation. They're chasing after a sensation of feeling alive, right? People want to feel alive. They want to feel like they have meaning in life. And one thing that's really done great for me is being bold in my life. Being bold in such as taking action, taking initiative, not waiting for an opportunity, but making things happen. Being bold in my life has made me feel so alive. It's made me realize I'm controlling my own fate. But at the same time, that fears a lot of people, because a lot of people don't want to be control their own fate if they realize it or not. Because if they're control their own fate, that means they're responsible and accountable for their actions and failures and the relationships and all their sufferings, what they've been through. And that's a really painful realization a lot of people don't want to confront in life. Deep regret I have in my 26 years of my life is not reading books sooner. Not a big fan of books. Growing up in middle school, high school, college, for some reason, English class, they made it extremely boring. They gave you the worst books to read, right? But I discovered books at age 21, and my world just opened up, right? I feel like, wow, I could get so much truth in this book, in this biography, in this psychology book, and etc. And this book could help me for the rest of my life. It could change my path. It could change how I see life. I could learn, someone's biography in the span of 80, 100 years they've lived. I could learn in a span of 1 week in 200 pages. That's a cheat code, right? And most people don't take advantage of this. Most people are distracting themselves through social media, addictions, and all those things. And books have been a game changer for me. I always try to recommend people books, but people don't listen to me. So books have been a monumental moment in my life, and I'm so glad I've discovered books, because books would definitely set you free. I believe life is about doing hard things. Hard things like go train for a full marathon. Like, physically test yourself. Have difficult conversations with your parents, your friends, and sit by yourself in a room for 30 minutes. Go hiking, be in solitude. Like, fear of the unknown. Like, test yourself, challenge yourself, because that's when growth mostly happens. What's the whole moral of my video? What's the core message I'm trying to express through this video to YouTube right now? The greatest occupation, the greatest job that you could serve on this planet Earth is knowing yourself. That's the greatest occupation. Love your fate, face your shadow, strengthen your spirit. And I think the greatest privilege in this lifetime is becoming who you truly are. And let's see where the cars fall. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.